I think the balance between tools that characters have to recover and tools characters have to edgeguard is overall pretty good. It definitely could be better. I for one think that there are still too many recoveries that are never worth going off stage against for too many characters. And the way some characters edgeguard is cringe. But overall I would say it is pretty even. I think a recovery that fits the bill for being well balanced is Luigi's. While you don't always instantly explode the moment you go off stage, a lot of characters have ways to edgeguard you. I would put it in the bottom third of recoveries in the game, maybe even lower. In part due to his atrocious horizontal recovery with the second worst airspeed in the game, and his worst move, Green Missile. There's a reason it's often cited as Luigi's worst move. That reason being that the move is terrible in like every single way. Already by looking at the move in-game, some weaknesses are pretty clear. For a move deemed a missile, it travels quite slowly and doesn't go that far when uncharged. Not a great start for Luigi's patented funny move. Looking at the hitbox and frame data, things don't get much better. The hitbox of the move is more towards the middle of his body and doesn't cover his head, meaning that sometimes you can beat out the move without even trying. The thing is that this hitbox is pretty normal when it comes to special moves that go fast horizontally. Look at some other ones, they're fucking awful. However, these moves have other qualities that make them better than Green Missile. Skull Bash for both Pikachu and Pichu travel further and faster. The small hitbox is the only thing keeping Spin Dash remotely in check. There are also moves that just do have a real hitbox. Generally, those moves also have better frame data. Skull Bash has 18 frames of startup, Spin Dash 17 frames. Green Missile, being the atrocious move it is, has 22 frames of startup, with 19 frames of end lag, which isn't all too bad, but again, taking into account the move's mediocre speed and Luigi's own terrible airspeed, it's so easy to track where the move's going that the amount of time you have to properly position yourself and punish is much greater than just 19 frames. But with the move taking fairly long, and again moving so slowly, you can also just position yourself at where he's going to have to vertically recover and then gimp him in the middle of his double jump or up B. So yeah, Green Missile gets exploited really hard off stage. Thankfully, Nintendo threw us miserable Luigi mains a bone and buffed Green Missile in patch 2.0, reducing the end lag of the move by 1 whole frame. I legitimately wonder how they came up with that idea. Guys, we have decided to remove Luigi Zero to Death because it's completely bullshit, but maybe we should give Luigi a buff to compensate for it.
Reduce the end lag of his Green Missile move by 1/60th of a second.
But that's only 1 frame. Okay, sounds good. Don't get me wrong, 1 frame can be the difference in a good amount of situations. More often than not though, those situations take place on stage and on shield. And neither of those places is where Green Missile wants to be nor should be. But it's still something, and Luigi also received other buffs that patch anyway. Now, I have been talking about the garbage part of this move, because it is a completely garbage move, but there are still some good qualities about it. The move works well with Luigi's general stats. With Luigi being so floaty, it does allow for Green Missile to often be charged when recovering for more distance. One other thing is that when side B is used in conjunction with a jump, it makes you jump higher, making high recoveries for Luigi more potent. With this, he even jumps higher than Falco. Side B by itself actually also gives a small height boost at the beginning, however due to the entirety of the move taking too long means that by the end that boost is completely negated. And the consistent positives for Green Missile as a recovery move kind of end there, but I still haven't covered all the ways this move sucks even more. There's also 2 ways of edgeguarding Luigi by abusing his side B that are both almost universal that I haven't mentioned yet. Despite Green Missile overall being a bad move, it still allows Luigi to position himself far under the ledge, lower than a lot of characters can really deal with. A couple of characters can go that low and a couple of characters have good lingering aerials. Some even have both, but a lot of them have neither, which is where this comes into play. If a Luigi decides to go low with a side B, it's possible to track where he's going and then when he's forced to double jump, footstool him. Thankfully for us Luigi mains, this is kind of insanely difficult and risky to hit, and Luigi isn't nearly a good enough character for this to be worth learning for most people. The other method is just body blocking. If you see a Luigi charging a side B, just go out there and jump in front of him. Of course throw out an attack either way, but if the Luigi does hit you with a side B, he's either in a terrible position when using his Green Missile again, or just dead outright. There's one character in the roster that can even make use of this method without having to go off stage. If Olimar's Pikmin are latched onto Luigi, they just block Green Missile all on their own for a free edge guard if that's even necessary. And if the Pikmin that's latched onto Luigi is red, the Olimar doesn't have to do any work at all. Due to Luigi's side B inflicting fire damage, the red Pikmin just won't die. However, despite letting yourself get hit being a common tactic in the Luigi matchup, there is a problem when doing this and trying to edgeguard Luigi in general. And that is the ever-present possibility of misfire, the holy grail of mediocre Luigi montages. Who doesn't love a good misfire? A decent amount of people probably. I don't think Mr. R liked misfire in this clip. Personally, my feelings on misfire are very mixed, and I think other Luigi players would feel the same way. On one hand, I love misfire because, you know, haha, funny. Winning even though I obviously didn't deserve it, but occasionally there are those moments you get a misfire and you either go way too low under the stage or get stuck because of it, and it's like, what the hell, man? So I can't say I'm always the biggest fan of the move because of how often it has caused me to die. But it's probably also a reason people don't go off stage as often as they should against Luigi. And it is always hilarious to get in a non-competitive setting, so still, I probably like it more than I hate it. But with all of this in mind, the frame data, speed, and misfire, is green missile really the worst recovery move in the game? There's a lot of bad recovery moves out there. The thing is, most of them though have much more use as an offensive tool than green missile. Should that really matter though when talking about recovery moves in Smash Bros? For the sake of the title and the video, yes. Anyway, green missile still has some things worth talking about when it comes to using it offensively. Going back to misfire, if it weren't for the 10% chance of getting it, it would be insane, obviously. It would essentially be a flare blitz without the ridiculous amount of end lag and negative frames on shield. Sadly, despite it moving faster than a fully charged green missile, you can't combo anything into misfire except like a fully delayed Zair, which is like, come on. But disregarding the RNG aspect of the move, green missile actually has one decent use aside from recovering, and that's edgeguarding. Being a floaty along with a really good vertical recovery allows him to go off stage for a long amount of time to properly position himself. But that with some of the quickest aerials in the game and of course, Zair, means you have multiple good ways of preventing people from getting to the ledge. The only thing holding back his edgeguarding is his horizontal movement, and side B can sometimes cover that problem, because even an uncharged missile still goes further than Luigi normally would. And its slow speed can also help in a way, because it means that it covers a threat range for a longer time. You would rarely see Luigi's go for this though, as sadly the risk-reward favor just isn't really worth it, as missing a side B can easily get you killed. And ledge trapping or edgeguarding with one of your aerials is just safer. It doesn't change the fact that it's really fun to go for. Aside from being a niche edgeguarding tool, it sadly doesn't have much else going for it, aside from the, you know, whole being vital to Luigi's recovery and all that. Which is a shame because it has some fun potential stuff you can try to do, like a B reversing and wave bouncing on the ground can give you a cool little slide. It's kind of like a perfect pivot from Smash 4, but instead of carefully microspacing, you're putting a sign on your back that says down throw there, nair, there, up air, up B me. The only way you're of course getting anything with this is if you misfire, because uncharged side B obviously isn't going to do anything. But what about using it in the air? And then it's like, oh, I think I reversed my momentum. Good luck juggling me with this level of air mobility, cloud players. So now, with the added fact that green missile offensively still is a bad move, is it really the worst? Not really. Yes, fuck this move.